Hey guys, Smaldor here, and I had just finished playing Blind on Supreme Jerk Wasteland 3. What a game by inXile Entertainment. So I have never played the previous Wasteland games. This is my first Wasteland game. I never played the original back in the day. Never played Wasteland 2, which was only a few years old. And to be quite honest, I'm kind of new into the CRPG games. I have played Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2, as well as Pathfinder Kingmaker. Technically, I've put in like 2 hours into Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2, combined maybe. But I was really looking forward to this, very, very much, and I was not disappointed at all. This game is phenomenal. Outside of some technical issues, I don't really have too many negative things to even say about this game at all. Like, the worst thing, in my opinion, I think about the game, if I'm like going down the list of all the things that maybe is like a negative or maybe or just not positive, would be inventory management could be a little bit better. There's a particular items, like a slot where you can put items called for utility. You have your weapons, you have your helmet, chest, legs, and utility. And you can't filter for utility items. You just have to go to, the only way you can see them is if you're looking under all or everything. So that kind of does suck. But everything else is great. The characters are phenomenal. The storylines are great. The decision making is amazing. In a lot of games, they allow you to decide: do you want to be a good person? Do you want to be a bad person? Do you want to be kind of middle of the road person? But generally speaking, you only get rewarded if you choose the good side. That's not true for every game, but for most games, that's generally how it goes. This game is not those games at all. You can sometimes get massively rewarded for being bad. And sometimes for being good, you get nothing. You just get thanks, and you get zilch. So, it was kind of fun to navigate the gray in this game, because a lot of the times, too, there is no good. Every option, you can tell that there was like, this is the least bad option and this is the really bad option, but every option is still bad overall. So there's a lot of gray. This game treads the gray very, very well. It does a phenomenal job of storytelling, and I think, and honestly, what I think is how people would really be if the world came to be in that type of a situation, right? If basically the world is, gone to hell, there's no form of government or society, it's just people living. For the most part, it's gonna be overrun, you would, probably by, gangs and things like this, whatnot. And this, the core crux of this game, maybe not the core crux, but like a big focal point of the game, is that there's this place called Colorado Springs. It's like one of the only areas that actually is kind of in order. And there's a guy called the Patriarch, and he's trying his best, in his way, to like maintain order as close to what the United States was best he can, even though knowing everything outside of his city or his areas to territories is just all sorts of gangs and thugs and everything, just pillaging everywhere, just people just it's the Wild West, basically. Just strong survive. Of course, you find out a little bit later he's not so noble in his causes, but it's awesome. And you're the Desert Rangers, right? So you're these people who are supposed to be like the I don't know. Like, the impression that I got is that the Desert Rangers are supposed to be like still upholding true like American values, trying to be the ultimate good in the world still, and trying to bring balance and order and all this kind of stuff. And you could just say screw that, or you can be absolutely. The game allows you to become anyone you want to be, basically. And it doesn't shy away from anything. And I love that. RPG systems in this game is great. There's so I love the stat system. Every stat is meaningful depending on how you want to build the characters. You have, like, say, strength. Strength is great for melee and HP, and also it's required to wear higher tier, like, defensive armor. And I was starting to find towards the later half of my playthrough that I needed to boost up strength even on my characters that weren't melee because they needed more HP. But then there's also, was it awareness that increases your hit chance and range damage? But maybe I needed that more on some of my melee guys, so they have a higher hit chance. So it was really cool on having to, like, kind of balance between the stats that I needed to pump out when leveling my characters, all the different skills. I do think is pretty standard, I think, in these kind of games. They just kind of named them all kind of funny stuff, but for the most part, they're all pretty standard. Automatic weapons, pistols. Well, pistols are under small arms with shotguns, big guns, like you got your LMGs and rockets, flamethrowers. You have sniper rifles, melee. But then they differentiated between melee and brawling. Brawling would be like brass knuckles and things like this. And the way that worked was a little bit different. I never really used it too much till pretty much the end of the game. Because due to some of my decisions, some of my companions left me, so I had to pick different ones. And that's, I think, is great. The decision making is really making an effect on the game. Anyways, I'm trying to talk more about the RPG stuff, and then there's the perks. I will be honest. I think some more perks would have been nice. A little bit. I think it would have been cool if there was, because not so every single skill has a perk tree, basically. And some of them have a perk every level. Some of them have a perk every couple levels. Some only have maybe like 2 or 3. Some maybe have 1 or 2, the entire tree. Or it's not really a tree, it's just a line, really. I think it would have been better if it was a little more balanced. Like, say, maybe you get... Okay, let's just say automatic weapons. Rank 10 is the highest you can have your automatic weapons at. And so, automatic weapons, I think, was one of the ones that had the most amount of perks. There might have been like 8 or 9 perks of the 10 levels. But let's just say maybe there was 5. There was, you get a perk at level 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. But have that maybe for every single one. Because I was running into the issue of, like, I was getting perk points, and I'm like, there's really nothing I want. I guess I'll just take that. Because there was a couple of them that I had where there's like 2 perks for all 10 skills. I'm like, okay, I guess. And there was everybody has, like, the standard perks as well. More HP, more resistance, more armor, more, things like this, which is great too, but got all of those as well. Minor stuff, and if I'm trying to nitpick a little bit better, I think it would have been kind of cool, I think, if, so this is a minor spoilery in this, what I'm going to say here, but very generalized. The game basically starts, and then you were given 3 goals that you're supposed to do. How you deal with these, you have 3 tasks. How you deal with them is up to you, but you have 3 tasks to do. I would have liked it to have been, I can do them in any order. I think that would have been pretty nice, but the game basically kind of guides you into doing them in a specific order, just due to the levels and stuff. And would have been a little bit interesting. Because there's, honestly, the first task, I think would have been cool if it was the last one. Or at least maybe the second, or not the first one anyway. But yeah, all in all, though, this game is phenomenal. Absolutely great. It has reinvigorated my desire to play even more CRPGs. And I'm going to, on stream, I'm going to start playing a lot more CRPGs when I can, obviously. Even if it doesn't necessarily have full voice acting. So I gotta say, the voice acting in this game is amazing too. God, there's so many things I gotta say that are just amazing about this game, dude. This game is just fantastic. And I did say in the beginning there were some technical issues, and that would be my major complaints with the game. Many times the game would for some random reason, just out of nowhere, drop FPS to like sub 10. And so for a long time, I thought the only way I could fix it was restarting the game. And even then, sometimes that wouldn't fix it. But I did find a fix eventually is for some reason the game thinks it's in borderless window, or it's in some form of window mode, which it's not, but it thinks it is. And so I tell it to be full screen, dedicated full screen, fixed. That's kind of strange. A little bit. Load times are pretty long, I would say. That's for sure. And even if the FPS wasn't like dropping like massive drops, there's still quite a few areas where the FPS was, for me, still staying around 60, sometimes still dipping in the 40s FPS. And for the most part, the game is well over 100 FPS for me. I'm running a 2080 Ti video card with the new Intel processor. But aside from that stuff, man, this game is fantastic. If you have Xbox Game Pass, this game is on there. Hello, people. Get this. You gotta get this. You gotta play it. Otherwise, it is available on, I believe, both Xbox and PlayStation. I think. Don't quote me on that. But it's also on Steam. That's where I played it. I played it on Steam. So my Xbox Game Pass is not activated, because I haven't touched it in a while. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this My Thoughts video on Wasteland 3. Next game's coming up, you know, probably gonna be a little while due to work, because I'm only able to play games a couple days a week. So maybe in a month we'll have another video. All right, guys, catch you next time. Peace.